Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anaga and he is Dr. Praveen Jacob. He is the Adjunct Professor of KS Hegde Medical College, Chief Consultant of Veda Wellness Center, Nisargamane Sirsi, and Chief Scientific Advisor of Atmantan Wellness Center. Doctor, I welcome you. Doctor, so obesity is one of the biggest pandemic that the world is facing today.
Yes.
And India is no exception in that. So at least 60 to 70% of Indians are definitely suffering from belly fat and obesity.
Yeah.
So what is actually the key role to obesity? Because we see that most of the people, even though they are doing diet, but still they will be having belly fat. Even though they exercise, it will be difficult to burn this belly fat. So what exactly is the reason for high rate of obesity?
Yeah, there's a major two misconception regarding obesity. Eating too much of food. Second, lack of exercise. It's like obsession. We always try to accuse these two factors major contributing factor of obesity. Lack of exercise and eating
Excess
too
food.
much.
Okay.
Eating too much, lack of exercise. So you are lazy. That's what you are put on the weight. You are eating too much, which is a simple advice a doctor often gives to the patient, but no one ever lost their weight by these two advice.
Yes, yes.
So we have to understand that obesity stems from a hormonal imbalance. It's a hormone mediated disorder, not a calorie mediated
Disorder.
That is
Okay.
a major message. Before moving into further, I want to give the strong message. Obesity is a hormone mediated disorder. It is no longer
Food mediated.
food or calorie mediated
Calorie-ated,
disorder.
yeah.
Neither lack of exercise nor excess food contribute to obesity. So one calorie is not a calorie. All calories are not created equal. For instance, calorie from fat, calorie from protein, and calorie from carbohydrate all have got different behavior pattern. They does not behave in same pattern. The fat, for instance, triggers secretion of certain types of hormones. In contrast, carb induce secretion of
Certain hormones.
certain types of hormones. And these hormones are the driving factor. The hormone secreted by, the hormone triggered by fat consumption reduce obesity. The same hormone secreted by carbohydrate induce obesity. For instance, if you consume 100 calorie from fat or coconut oil, isn't it? And 100 calorie from rice. 100 calorie from coconut oil, 100 calorie from
Rice.
The calorie is same.
Yeah.
But there is a huge difference in the physiological process of our body. For instance, 100 calorie from rice induce secretion of insulin. Okay, got it here?
Yes.
100 calorie from rice induce secretion of
Insulin.
100 calorie from coconut oil induce secretion of cholecystokinin, another hormone.
Okay.
A different hormone.
Okay.
So that's what I told you. Hormonal response to different type of food varies according to the macronutritional profile. So carb induce secretion of insulin. The fat suppressed secretion of insulin and triggered secretion of cholecystokinin. Let me tell you what is cholecystokinin. That has the ability to suppress the appetite center, so you don't feel to eat more.
Okay.
In contrast, insulin, appetite hormone, it make you to eat more. It rapidly remove the glucose from your bloodstream, and which is the number one trigger for overeating. Got it? Leading to obesity. So 100 calorie from rice can be a factor for obesity, but same 100 calorie from fat can be a curative agent for obesity. That's what the main message I want to convey here.
Okay. So it is not the amount of calories that you intake, it is the kind of calories that you take. So like doctor said, 100 calories from rice is not equal to 100 calories from coconut oil. So on one hand, the 100 calories from rice makes you to eat more. So it also means that you take in lot of more calories and that can induce obesity. But on the other hand, 100 calories from coconut oil, that can make you feel fulfilled, and that suppresses your appetite and not excess calories are induced. So that is the difference between your calorie intake. So please remove this misconception that the amount of calories that you intake is very much important. It is not that, it is the quality of food that you take that is important. So doctor, in typical Indian diet, we consume lot of grains. It is a staple food of India.
Yeah.
It may be wheat or rice or jowar or millets, which has been recently added.
Okay.
But you say that carbohydrates induce insulin, and that also makes you to eat more. So what exactly is the relation between these grains?
That's
and
what the title. The key to obesity is high carbohydrate. Right? Only one factor leads us to obesity. Just look at the animal, carnivorous animal. They consume huge amount of meat, flesh, protein and fat. None of them are obese. Neither tribals nor the carnivorous animal. Tribals to consume huge amount of meat and flesh in their diet. And we do know that there are herbivorous animal consume vegetable, fruits and salads. Even they are not obese. But only one animal consume a seed. Only one animal consume one seed, a seed of grass. Seed of grass. Which is that seed?
Grains.
Grains are seeds of grass ingested and processed by only one animal, Homo sapiens, and only this animal has obesity. So simple logic here, the obesity is driven by grains, not even carbohydrate. Grains are the culprit here because we are the only one mammalian species munch on grains. That's what non-vegetarian population, tribal population are not obese. Vegetarian populations too are not obese. But processed grains, the driving factor behind obesity. And how grains induce weight gain, a simple logic, grains trigger the secretion of insulin. Grains are loaded with the carbohydrate that trigger the secretion of insulin, and insulin drive the obesity. Insulin is termed as a storing hormone, and insulin is exactly like grandma particularly.
Okay.
Just she has tendency to put everything inside the cupboard, reluctantly disperse the product. Yeah, that's the tendency of grandmother. You give money, she keep in cupboard. You give some sweets, keep in cupboard. They don't spend that easily. Exactly like insulin is like our grandmother. Whatever we consume, insulin has to tendency to put in storehouse. What is storehouse? Storehouse. Fat cells. So food you eat, whether it could be non-veg, it could be fat or rice or wheat, instead of converting to energy, in the presence of insulin, they goes to the storehouse. So we have two destinations for the food we consume. For instance, firewood help you to understand the mechanism of insulin. Firewood has two destinations. You can keep it in backyard, or you can use for kitchen. Convert into energy to play. If you use in kitchen, it convert into energy. If you keep in backyard, it will be keep accumulating. So insulin has two responsibility. Likewise, firewood we kept in backyard. The food we consume has two destination. It can goes to kitchen, mitochondria, or it can goes to the backyard, storehouse, fat cells. So rice, meat, eggs, fat we consume. It can end up reaching two destinations. One is mitochondria, the fire pit, or second, storehouse. So insulin close the kitchen door, mitochondria, open the door of storehouse. So food we consume goes to storehouse. And how insulin is secreted. So insulin is the driving factor of obesity. It direct food to end up in storehouse rather than entering to mitochondria, kitchen. It open the door of
Fat cells.
storehouse.
Yeah.
And close the door of
Kitchen.
mitochondria, kitchen. Got my logic here?
Yeah.
And who is the trigger of insulin secretion?
Excess food.
Not excess food, carbohydrate.
Carbohydrate.
Insulin is secreted when you consume too much of
Carbohydrate.
carbohydrate. That's what I told you. Carb, increased secretion of insulin. Insulin drive the obesity by storing the food we consume into
As fat.
That's fat. This is the logic. So high carb, high insulin,
More fat.
more fat.
Okay.
This basis you have to address.
Okay.
Without that, obesity can be a nightmare. That's what all obesity programs are literally failure. American government initiated national obesity program. They were successful to control cholesterol. There was a program called as National Cholesterol Education Program, which was a huge success. They had National Hypertension Program, was a huge successful. 80% of Americans had hypertension. That dropped to 20% by education and right medication. All programs were successful except National Obesity Program.
Yeah.
So no one ever lose. There are lots of people goes to different hospital to treat obesity. None of them ever lost the weight. Many people goes for morning walking. Have you seen? Thousands of Indians walk morning, irrespective of walking 2, 3, 5 kilometers every day for years together. None of them
Lose weight.
lose weight. Gym hitters, they're not losing the weight because the culprit, the major underlying cause is not lack of exercise or eating too much of food. It is a hormone called as insulin.
Okay.
That's the benefit of fat. You know, keto diet is highly successful to lose the weight because keto diet is rich in fat. What is the major impact of keto diet on our body? Reduce insulin because it's a fat. So if you eat 1000 calories from fat, insulin secretion
Reduces.
goes down. If you eat 1000 calories from rice, insulin secretion
Goes up.
goes up. So you have to target only one culprit
Hormone.
here.
Okay.
That is a hormone called as insulin. So insulin drive the obesity by storing the food in fat cells.
Okay. So like doctor explained, unlike your misconception that it is because of calories, it is because of food, or you may be even blaming it on genes. So they say, some people say that because my parents are obese, so even I am prone to get obesity. But they never think about changing their food habits. So like you clearly explained how carbohydrates, which leads to increased insulin, and that again acts as a key to store all these energy as fat cells, and that is how you get more and more obese. So the higher amount of grains you take, the higher amount of carbohydrates you take, that stimulates higher amount of insulin production, and that is how these excess carbohydrates or calories, it is not used up to give you energy, but it is used up as a storehouse. So it is stored in your body as fat cells, and that is how you get more and more obese.
So always I will tell 3 types of grass. 3 types of grass is the major cheaters for modern civilization.
Okay.
So all this disorder and all this traumas, all distress, or this tragedy of diabetes, heart disease, they originate from 3 types of grasses.
Okay. So and what are these?
Yeah, 3 types of grasses are contributor of the hospital, or medical shops, of most of the civilization of modern disease. I do get many patients because of the 3
grasses.
3 grasses.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 grasses bring patient to me. Got it. Most of the doctors depends on these 3 grasses.
And what are they exactly?
One is the grass which produce grains.
Okay.
Okay, first one. One is a grass which produce fructose, sugar cane, the tallest grass.
Okay.
Sugar cane. Next is a grass which produce a plant and grass which produce seeds, sunflower seeds, soya bean seeds, refined oils.
Oh, okay.
So this tragedy come from
These 3 seeds.
grass.
Three grass.
First is grass which produce grains like rice, wheat, millet. Second one, a grass which produce
Sugarcane.
sugarcane. Next is a grass which produce oil, edible oil like refined oils.
Yeah.
So these three grass are the root cause of miseries of human
Human
being today.
beings.
All lifestyle related disorders are mediated by these three grass byproduct, and these three byproducts are consumed by one animal. There are 6,500 mammalian species in the world today, but only one mammal consume this byproduct of grass, human being, and we are the only one species suffer from diabetes. I will challenge you, if diabetes is genetically mediated, why don't other animals have diabetes?
Yeah.
Why other animal don't have broken heart? Only one animal. That clearly implies that we are putting the wrong fuel to our intestine, for which we are not created.
Yeah.
Created. Likewise.
3 blades of grass that kill you.
That's what. So very simple. We are the only one subject. Even I will challenge you. If the product of these 3 grasses, if you feed to monkeys, they do get diabetes in 3 years.
Okay.
If you feed to rats, they get obesity. So the root cause of obesity is the byproduct of these 3 grasses. Grains, fructose from sugarcane, and seed oils. All seed oils are rich in a type of inflammatory molecule called as omega-6 fatty acid. If you just do a Google study, you can come across with amazing results.
Yeah.
Omega-6 and obesity. So omega-6, too much of grains and
too much of
processed sugar. 3 molecules contributed to the obesity and miseries of modern civilization.
Okay.
That's what we are the only one species of animal suffer from so-called diabetes, so-called obesity. For instance, the genes of chimpanzee, monkey and human being is same. The structure of pancreas of monkey, chimpanzee and human is same. The pig and pig has got same pancreas like human being. That's what 50-60 years ago the insulin was isolated from
the pig
pancreas and injected to human being. But why pig is not suffering from diabetes? Why elephant is not suffering from diabetes? But scientists surprisingly found that lots of elephants in the temple periphery are suffering from diabetes when they fed grains to elephant.
Okay.
When the temple elephants are fed with the grains, devotees feed them with a huge amount of rice. Elephants started developing diabetes after ingesting
grains.
So grains are rich in carbohydrates. Very, very rich. 80% energy of grains derive from carbohydrate, but all other foods, the carb is very less. Grains, I mean to say is that even millets also, same grains, millets, rice, wheat, ragi. So the best way to battle with the obesity, not the exercise, it is by insulin. Insulin is result of too much of grains. You stop the grains and eat more fat, so you can control plasma insulin. Insulin level drastically reduces and the door of mitochondria opens. Kitchen open and the storehouse door can be closed. Okay. This is also a mechanism. Close the storehouse door and open kitchen door. The fat turn on
mitochondria, the
kitchen door. The carb driven insulin turn on storehouse. You can determine which door should be opened.
Okay. So as Sir beautifully explained about the 3 grasses, and the byproduct of these 3 grasses are the cause of your obesity, diabetes and many other lifestyle disorders. So one thing is, the first grass is the grass that gives the byproduct of grain. So that is how you consume a lot of grain. So it may be rice, wheat, ragi or other millets including your jawar. So the staple diet of Indian is a heap of rice and sambar. So that is the southern diet. In the north, if you go, maybe 6 to 7 chapatis every day with maybe a little bit of vegetables. So that is how you regularly eat, right? So these grains are the ones that is causing you diabetes and obesity as well. And the second thing is sugarcane. So sugarcane, as he clearly mentioned, So after processing, that is how you get sugar. So excess consumption of sugar in your everyday diet, it may be in the form of biscuits or chocolates or every other junk food that you eat, they all contain sugar. It can even be your beverages. So that contains at least 50% sugar that you may not be aware of. And the third thing is the grass that produces seeds, sunflower seeds or soybean seed. And the third kind of grass is the one that produces seeds, the sunflower seeds or cotton seed, or these are refined, and that is how you use the refined oils. So in everyday diet in your kitchen, if you go and see, it is the refined oil that you are using, and this is the cause of high amount of omega-6 that is being consumed in your everyday diet. And it is proven by a lot of research that you can Google and check that omega-6 fatty acids are one of the leading cause for your obesity, and that is also the reason for cardiovascular diseases as well. And that is how in India the leading cause of death is cardiovascular diseases or heart attack. That is because you take in a lot of omega-6 fatty acids that comes from your refined oils. So these three grasses are the major risk factor for developing all the lifestyle disorders, and especially, as he said, the key to obesity is high carbs.
Carbs, insulin, obesity theory. See, high carb, insulin, obesity theory.
Yes.
It is no longer lack of exercise or eating too much. Eating too much calorie, fat theory was a failure, but it is well known fact now that too much calorie no longer related to obesity.
It is the kind of calories.
It's kind of calories.
Yeah.
A calorie rich in carbohydrate.
Okay.
Increase the production of insulin. And insulin drive the obesity.
Okay. So as sir clearly mentioned that it is not the amount of food that you eat, it is the kind of food that you eat. So you may consume a bowl of rice or a bowl of good fat. So it can be eggs or paneer. And these two foods act differently on your body. So both of them produce different kinds of hormones, and as sir has clearly explained till now, it is the insulin that is causing the obesity. By that is how the excess calories is converted to fat, and the accumulation of fat keeps increasing. So the insulin, when it is produced more, that switches on your storehouse and that closes your kitchen, that is the mitochondria. So not all of the food that you consume is converted to energy, but most of them is stored in the form of fat cells. So I hope that you got an idea about what kind of food you eat and what is actually driving factor for obesity. So doctor, thank you so much for letting us know about the most major concern about obesity and the root cause of it, that is in our food, the diet on our plate. And we hope that our viewers have understood the root cause of obesity, and I hope they follow. Thank you.